beautiful women. Welcome back to the Prosperous Feminine podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you today, and I might get really passionate because there's something I wanted to say for a while, and I'm gonna go a little bold here today. Okay, so you ready? Let's dive in because I want to really talk about shattering the myths that have been quietly running our financial lives for centuries. Patriarchal money myths, traditionally masculine money making system that has projected certain assertions on us as women, also on the feminine, right? And these ideals and beliefs that are really subtle but are running in our brain. And these are beliefs we've inherited from a system designed by men for men that told us how money should be managed and measured, and whether it was okay for a woman to have it, to keep it, and to build wealth. There's this very subtle undercurrent that's been with us for a very long time. And the truth is that those rules were never written with women in mind. And in years and years and years ago, women that had money were considered prostitutes or someone to be ostracized, that they were too big for their britches and something was wrong. But the belief always was that women that had money, it came from a man. She never earned it of her own accord, right? And are you resonating with what I'm saying? And yet all of that still shapes how we earn, how we save, and how much freedom we actually allow ourselves to have. And the problem is that these myths have kept us trapped. They keep us playing small, just under the radar, right? And yet we don't like and complain about the glass ceiling. But do you really want to break through the glass ceiling because of the visibility that it might put you in, the light that it might put you in? I actually want you to sit and think about that for a second, right? And so that keeps us hustling, that keeps us proving, that keeps us fearful and waiting for the security that seems like it's never gonna come. Right. And I want to share today the three biggest patriarchal money myths and reveal what the feminine path to liberation actually looks like instead. Here's why I'm really passionate about this. In today's world, in the geopolitical landscape, where there are wars, there is information chaos, there is people in office, I don't even want to call them leadership, who change their mind every 30 seconds. And it's all designed to keep us off balance, dysregulated, and completely disrupted. Why? Because energetically, when that happens, women start to get scared. The scarcity factor starts to rise. And then we could easily, as a collective, fall back into silencing and being financially insufficient, undercharging, under earning, falling back into the system that wants there to be male dominance over money. Okay. I am here for the feminine financial awakening. I am not willing to have that happen on my watch. So if you're barely hanging on, if you're feeling the feelings of scarcity, if you're feeling unsure about the economy, you don't know what direction to take, then I'm here for you. I am throwing you a life ring, okay? And I'm pulling you in and scooping you into the boat, into the safety raft, because we need to stick together. One of my good friends talks about really healing the misogyny within, which is the silencing of the feminine within. I don't know about you, but I'm going to stand up and I'm going to speak up and I'm going to talk about this boldly, that this quagmire that we could easily fall back into of silencing, of shaming, of not being willing to ask for the right prices, not being willing to actually stand up and declare the path to financial freedom for yourself, that this living in fear of outliving your savings can't be the path forward anymore. And so the tendency would be to blame ourselves and fall back into the trap, fall back into what's habitual. And there's a comfort in that habitualness, although there's an epic cost. We cannot go backwards. We are 60% the way through for the next great extinction. We already use the planet's resources by March of every single year for the year. I don't know about you, but do you want to make a difference? Do you want to have an impact? Then you got to start working with your stuff inside and really stake a claim for your liberation. And so, right now, here today, if you're willing, pinky swear with me to actually get a breakthrough, because that's what this is about. Okay. So, myth number one is that security comes from saving enough. And the old system tells us that if you just save enough, you'll be safe. And actually, no, you won't. That system that supports savings is actually at question. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up, and I'm trying to get you to feel the empowerment, because the whole traditionally masculine money making system is built on scarcity, on the idea that there's never enough. So you'd better hoard. You'd better not want for more, right? You've lived a blessed life. And so the underpinning of this scarcity is that you shouldn't want or long for more. But what if financial security in the feminine is the thing that will make the difference in our economies, in our life force being used properly, and instead of playing small and being under the burden and the pressure of these made up fears that we were to get free, we were to leapfrog the system that's breaking down before our very eyes, as much as they want you to believe that they have it all under control and the over domination. What if it's actually not true, right? And what happens for women is this creates a lifelong fear of outliving your savings, right? Like, you can feel that in your bones when I say it, right? No matter how much we put aside, it never feels like enough. But here's the prosperous feminine truth. Security doesn't come from a number in a bank account. It comes from knowing you can generate, create, and receive money at every stage of life. I've created cash flow for life, and it was a way to outsmart the system, but we did it. Okay. That's liberation. That's shifting from hoarding to creating. That's where we get that sense of inner peace and inner strength and inner sovereignty, knowing that you carry a financial, energetic imprint inside of you that I am here to help you wake up into. Okay. And it might feel uncomfortable for a little while. All right. But if you want to be in that community, come keep listening to this. Come follow me. Come do this. So that leads me right into the second myth, is that money is a man's game. Like, just bullshit. Okay. Because we've been told money was too complicated. We don't understand it. That's because Wall Street's all behind this shroud, but it's not that difficult to understand. Okay. It's not that difficult to understand financial instruments and become financially literate. I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming podcast. Or that money's too risky, or that it's too masculine to handle for our dainty selves, right? You can picture in your mind going back into the castle with the fan and the lace, right? That it's like we're not supposed to disturb a woman's peace talking about money. But in the era of the rise of the feminine that we are in the utter maelstrom of chaos that is lived life on the planet at this moment, we cannot afford to go backwards. We cannot afford to believe that this is a man's game, because fathers and husbands and experts were the ones that were tasked with managing money. Even now, women still default to letting someone else take the lead. I had a friend, and it broke my heart. She was the vice president of a bank, and she was married to a man that was a secret alcoholic. She didn't know it for decades. And when she finally came to realize the truth, he had already spent all of her Ks. He'd moved all of our IRAs. He'd gambled her money away. In my mind, I was like, how can a female vice president of a bank let a man manage her money? And she ended up, when he died, all of this became revealed. And she ended up having a lot less money than she thought she did. And we can't live like that anymore, ladies. We have to start to trust ourselves. And the truth is that money is not a man's game. The feminine brings intuition, values, collaboration, and vision to money. We want to be ethical with money, and liberation, bringing our feminine genius to money instead of shrinking back or apologizing for it, right? Take a breath, right? And I know that I speak with intensity because I want to wake you up to let this stuff go. Myth number 3 is you have to work harder to have more. And underneath that is this idea of you need to prove and constantly prove. And it's exhausting. And that's part of the system setup, is to keep you scared and to keep you proven and to keep you exhausted, right? And this is the hustle myth, the myth that patriarchal culture glorified labor, productivity, and sacrifice. This is the difference between being of service, which I know you're called to, and being in servitude, where you think you have to and your feet are nailed to the floor and you do not get to do this on your own terms. And boy, sister, you better keep proving yourself. We got to let that one go, because that leads you to working more hours, grinding harder, and proving your worth. But women have been working harder for centuries, and it's not created freedom. The feminine path is different. Wealth comes from alignment, not exhaustion. It comes from authenticity, from daring to charge your value, from focusing on what matters, from letting ease and flow replace your struggle. Liberation means choosing to prosper without self-betrayal. Imagine that, right? So let's recap. The 3 patriarchal money myths we're shattering are: security comes from saving enough, money is a man's game, and you have to work harder to have more. These are not your truths. These are inherited scripts, and they can be rewritten. And that's what we're doing today. The path to feminine liberation starts when you question these myths and choose new truths that honor who you are, who I am, and who we are. And it's time for you to see other women and your sisters. When you see other women succeeding, making money, that you actually amplify that, even if it causes jealousy or insecurity in you, that you amplify it, because it'll amplify it inside of you. Because all of us that are way showers are showing the rest how to get it done. I'd love to hear from you. What struck a chord, what struck a note, and what really resonated with you about these myths we've been living under, and what you're going to do to shift it. So come share with me. You can respond on YouTube. You can respond on Substack. You can follow me on Instagram.com/Julie Steelman. And if this conversation resonated, would you please share it with another sister? Because we need to shift this conversation inside of ourselves, right? And it's about coming into the path of feminine financial liberation and freedom. And remember this: you were never meant to live by patriarchal money rules. You were meant to write your own, and I'm here to help you activate that. I'm Julie Steelman, and until next time, stay fiercely